Hey, how's it going everybody? It's Tanner here, and welcome back to a new Ninjago video here on the channel. In today's video, we are celebrating Day of the Departed. Yay! So this special came out exactly 4 years ago today. October 29th, 2016 was when Day of the Departed premiered in the United States, and I remember watching it and being kind of taken back with how rough it actually was. And every year I kind of make a video talking about how much I hate Day of the Departed, and every year people get mad at me, so let's do it again this year. Should be fun. So in this year's retrospective look at Day of the Departed, I figured I'd go ahead and just talk about it just in general. I tried to go ahead and watch it using OBS, but I couldn't find like my actual MP4 file of Day of the Departed, and I didn't really care enough to download another one, so I just watched it on Netflix, and here we are. So yeah, happy Day of the Departed to all of you guys. Let's tear into this thing. So I do have some good stuff though that I do want to discuss first. Again, we're not reviewing this is just kind of a retrospective look at this special and what worked and what didn't, and it's not all entirely bad. There are some good things that I enjoy here, so let's get started by talking about that. First of all, the concept is brilliant. Master Yang summoning the souls of all of the older Ninjago villains is a really good idea. I feel like that concept on its own is wonderful, and I remember hearing about this way back in the day and just being like taken back with how good that idea is. I mean, we got Chen coming back, Moro, Samukai, you name it, everybody's back, and it's incredible. And overall, that's the first big thing that I really love about this special, is the idea of all of the villains coming back and having each ninja kind of face off against a villain. That's a really good idea. Also, something that I really enjoy about this special is Cole's character. Again, if there's one thing that Day of the Departed does right, it's that it actually creates a storyline for Cole, and it's his own. He doesn't need to share it with anybody. While the other ninja are in this special, they don't really have any sort of interaction with Cole, as Cole is the center focus and he's doing his own thing. That is something that I always appreciated about Day of the Departed, was how they treated Cole, because I feel like they did Cole really well, and I feel like they actually wrapped up his ghost story pretty perfectly, I'd say. It's a good conclusion to Cole's ghost story, and it's also a good way to, I guess, give him some type of spotlight, because before this he didn't really have anything related to that. So it's nice to see Cole get some attention in the form of a special. Also, something else that I do need to praise are the action sequences. Anytime a ninja is facing off against a villain, it's really well done. I do have to admit that the fights in this special are really cool. I especially love Lloyd versus Pythor, I love Cole versus Yang, and I really like Kai and Nia versus Chen. And also Zane versus Cryptor is kind of cool too. The only one that I don't really like is Jay versus Samukai, but we'll talk more about that later on. But overall, the action sequences are really cool. I really love each ninja going up against a villain. Again, I feel like that's a really good concept, and just overall, I feel like it had a lot of potential. And that's pretty much all the positive stuff I'm going to say about Day of the Departed. Let's get into the negative. So first things first, we got Yang. Now, I mentioned that Yang before was a good idea for a main villain, and he is. Master Yang has been a thing in Ninjago all the way since season 5, I want to say, is the first time we saw him, and having him be a main villain, especially in a sort of Halloween special, that's a really good idea. I think Master Yang as a main villain was a good choice. However, I don't feel like his character is very good, and let's talk about why. So first things first, Yang has always been shown to be kind of like a bad dude. He's always been just kind of a jerk, even before he was a villain. With his students, he would always kind of, I guess, pressure them and kind of perform some, I guess, not so civil acts against them during training and stuff like that. He was a very brutal sensei, if that makes sense. He didn't really train them the same way that Master Wu trained the ninja. He was a lot more violent and a lot more, I guess, in your face about it, which I suppose is just his teaching method, but that always proved him to be kind of like a weird dude and kind of a, bad person, again, like I said. So the fact that Yang kind of breaks down at the end of this special and starts whining to Cole about how he doesn't want to be forgotten, that really doesn't seem something that Yang would do. But I do applaud them for actually giving Yang a reason to be a bad guy, as opposed to just someone who's just evil for the sake of being evil. He has a reason to be bad. I mean, he's worried about being forgotten, all that kind of stuff, but in a way that doesn't really work out in the special when you're trying to go ahead and portray him as this really awful dude that needs to be defeated. And it also doesn't pay off for Yang at the end as well, because he doesn't even go through the rift with Cole. He doesn't turn human or anything like that. He just kind of stays in the Air-Jitsu temple, which kind of shows that his story really isn't wrapped up. I mean, I guess in a way he kind of accepted his own fate, but that still doesn't make him a good guy. They tried to redeem Yang, and it really just didn't work. With a villain like Moro, that was a good redemption story. With a villain like Harumi, that was a pretty good redemption story. With Yang, I don't know. That redemption really didn't work for me, and it just kind of felt like they just needed a way to, get Cole up through the rift, so why not have Yang suddenly decide to turn good for whatever reason. That didn't really work for me, and that does kind of lead into the second thing that I need to talk about, the writing, especially in terms of the dialogue. It's just not great. That's always been one of my big issues issues with Day of the Departed was the dialogue from a lot of the characters, but especially Yang, which kind of adds on to my first point there. And I will show you guys my favorite clip of Day of the Departed right now, so enjoy that.
Father would not want you to do this, brother.
Wait, no, that's the wrong clip. Hold on.
Time is wasting, and I've got my own thing going on, so work it out!
Yeah, that one's pretty bad. Yeah, that does not work for me. I really just do not like that dialogue. It's not great, and it's always been something that's bothered me about this special. And again, no shame to the writer of this, but it's definitely not the same as what Ninjago was before Day of the Departed came out. And that's just a circumstance of the writers changing. Again, Dan and Kevin Hageman, who have written everything from Ninjago prior to this, they didn't really do this one because they were busy working on another project, so they had another writer come in and do this in Hands of Time. And it kind of shows, again, no discredit to the writer, no disrespect to him, but it's not, you could tell that there was a difference there, and it's not my favorite thing ever. The writing is really weak, especially compared to other Ninjago seasons, and just overall it's not all that great, at least in terms of my own personal opinion. Something else that I want to talk about is that the other ninja, while they do have their own little fight scenes, they have nothing in terms of development, which is kind of a bad thing, but it also makes sense because Cole is the center focus. And because this special is, well, a 45-minute long special, it's not like they had a lot of room to give development to the other characters, so the other ninja are just kind of there. They have their own stuff going on, but it's not like they, it's not like they have any sort of development. They're just themselves, and they stay themselves. If Day of the Departed didn't happen, those characters wouldn't change. The only character that would change is Cole, because, of course, he went from ghost to human again. But the other ninja, they don't really do anything. I mean, again, they'd be no different if this special never even came out, which in my opinion is just another example of weak writing, but it's also a disadvantage of, I guess, the runtime as well, which we'll get into right now. That's pretty much my biggest complaint about Day of the Departed, is you took a really awesome concept and a really good idea and kind of made it a very small thing. You made it the length of 2 regular Ninjago episodes at the time, and that's not, in my opinion, that doesn't work. There's way too much crammed into this 45-minute special to even, I guess, constitute a good, coherent story. There's just a lot of stuff going on here that just kind of counters each other and just makes for a big mess. And that's pretty much my final biggest complaint, is that Day of the Departed is messy. Again, this should have been a full season. I remember when Day of the Departed was coming out and everyone thought that it was going to be, season 7, which was a big thing at the time because season 6, Skybound, had just come out, and the year prior we got seasons 4 and 5. So people thought that in 2016, the year that this came out, we were going to be getting season 6 and 7. And instead we got season 6 and season 6.5. Now I'm not sure what exactly caused this. It might have been the Ninjago movie being delayed, as that was supposed to come out around the same time of Day of the Departed. I have a feeling that if the Ninjago movie came out when it was supposed to, Day of the Departed would have come out at the beginning of 2017 and would have been season 7. At least that's what I think. I mean, I'm sure there's something related to that behind the scenes, and there's an actual reason why Day of the Departed is super short. But again, they kind of took that original concept for that season and kind of made it a very short, rundown, 45-minute special with weak writing, and it just became just this huge mess. And that's pretty much my biggest complaint, is that Day of the Departed should have been a full season. And that's, I guess, my biggest takeaway from that, is that, hey, this concept is awesome, but it would have worked better as a full season. Again, do I hate Day of the Departed? In a way, yeah. I mean, I hate a lot of aspects about it, but it's not like it's all bad. I mean, if I were to give it a grade, it would probably be like a D minus maybe. Again, it's not failing, but it's definitely not doing Ninjago any favors. The only character that really changes and develops from this special is Cole. Master Yang is never seen again. The other ninja barely even have anything to do with Day of the Departed. And I mean, it's not like any of the villains that came back would have stuck around anyway. I mean, the only one that really stuck around was Pythor, and Pythor is nowhere to be found. So again, there's not really any consequences of Day of the Departed. There's not a whole lot of stuff going on that even affects the rest of the ninja aside from Cole. And just overall, it's something that I don't really care to revisit, and I hate that I have to revisit it every year. It's definitely not my favorite thing, but I do like to talk about it, because I will admit that Day of the Departed, again, while it is all these negative things that I said in this video, it's fun to talk about, because so much of Ninjago to me is really, really good. So it's kind of fun to talk about the one bad apple in the group, if that makes sense. Day of the Departed is easily my least favorite thing about Ninjago. If I could cancel one thing in Ninjago, it'd be this. If I could could take one thing out of the storyline, it would be this. And just overall, there are better Ninjago stories out there, and Day of the Departed, well, it is kind of cool for Ninjago to have kind of like a holiday special, if you will. It's not executed the best. To summarize, Day of the Departed had great ideas, a great concept, a great story focusing on Cole, but in terms of the villain, the writing, the other ninja, the actual short runtime, it just kind of creates a mess. And that's why I don't like Day of the Departed. And 4 years later, that's why I still don't like Day of the Departed. Thanks a lot for watching this video, guys. Let me know down below in the comments what you think about Day of the Departed and this video. Is Day of the Departed something that you rewatch every year around this time? I know I sure do, and every year I get mad at it. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comments, and I look forward to reading what you guys come up with. With all that being said, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and check out the links down below in the description for my other forms of social media. As always, big shout out because that's my Patreon supporters, including once again the marvelous Jan. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Once again, my name is TannerFishies, and with that I bid you farewell.